Hi there, Carol Allen here. Wanting to talk today about J-Lo and A-Rod. Oh my gosh, I know I'm so late to the J-Rod A-Lo party. They got engaged a couple of weeks ago, and there's been so much talk and so much media attention, and I didn't jump into the fray because, like what happens a lot in astrology, is their birth times are unknown. Can you believe it? Such public people, and we don't know their birth times. So I can't do my favorite deep dive into the nitty gritty of their charts, but I can look at basically the pieces of the puzzle that make them who they are. I just can't put all the pieces together. So, if you've been in a cave in a coma for the last couple of weeks, or thinking about things that, I don't know, are a little more important, because there's been a lot of news the last couple of weeks, let me just catch you up to speed. J-Lo, the beautiful actress, dancer, singer, the triple threat, got engaged for the fifth time for her fourth marriage, bless her heart, to Alex Rodriguez, the former massive champion Yankees baseball player. And I have a little bone to pick with A-Rod. He got her my ring. I mean, come on. How could he do that to me? How could he rip off my wedding ring? Okay, this, of course, was given to me by a client. It's a gorgeous crystal, but hey, just as valuable, right? But in honor of J-Lo, I did wear 5 engagement rings, if you count the crystal ring. But you can watch videos about all her rings. They got progressively more amazing. I really liked the one from Ben Affleck, the pink diamond emerald cut with the baguettes on the sides. That I would have had a hard time giving that one back. Anyway, but I digress. I'm going to stay in my lane. I'm going to talk about the stars. So this is all, of course, according to Vedic astrology. I practice the system of ancient India, which is quite different from the Western system. So Alex and J-Lo, if you hear that they're a different sign than you thought, that's why. Please don't put in the comments 800 times that I have their signs wrong, which happened with my last video. It's because I practice a different system and the calculations are different. And if you want to look up why that would be, you can go to Wikipedia and look up sidereal zodiac, which is spelled like side, R-I-A-L, zodiac. But without further ado, J-Lo and A-Rod. Okay, so Jennifer is a romantic. You gotta give it to the woman. She keeps believing, right? I mean, people that marry that many times, I call them optimists. She's like our Latina Elizabeth Taylor. And hey, it's a miracle anybody stays married long. It's not an easy thing, right? And I'm not going to do a deep psychological dive into Jennifer. I'm going to do an astrological dive into Jennifer. So even though I don't know her birth time, what I can tell you is that in this system, she is a Cancer with the moon in Scorpio and all her planets falling into 5 signs. Now, the planet of husbands, interestingly enough, is Jupiter, and she has Jupiter with an eclipse point called the south node of the moon, or K2. And K2 creates stop-starts, ups, downs, makes you feel a little bit like the rug gets pulled out from under you. So that's part of perhaps why she's had a bunch of marriages. The other reason, though, is she has Mars with the moon, and women with Mars with the moon, or even men, they have to be careful of leaping without looking, diving in too quickly, getting involved too fast. She has the moon in Scorpio, which I said already, and moon in Scorpio people, they bond very deeply, very fully. They get very connected. It's a very passionate sign. It's one of the what are called fixed signs. And the fixed signs, once they love, it's hard to get out. And she said of her marriage, which was the longest, of course, to Mark Anthony, she said she knew very quickly that it was wrong, but she stayed 10 years. I mean, they were together a very long time and they had twins. So I would always tell a woman, any woman, to listen to her intuition, but especially one with the sun and the moon in water signs. So she said after her other divorces, though, she really wanted to make that marriage work, and she put all of her heart and soul into that marriage, and that's why she stayed so long. She doesn't just have a fixed moon sign, she has a fixed Venus, and Venus is the way you love, and it's in a constellation of Taurus. It's in the sign of Taurus, which is also why she's a total fashion vixen. People with Venus and Taurus are people like OG Jackie O and Duchess Kate, women that are known to be fashion icons, fashion trendsetters. But she has Venus in a Vedic sign called Magrishara, and Magrishara is ruled by Mars. Venus-Mars people are super passionate. Again, they get very, very connected from chemistry. And so Jennifer could get really blinded by chemistry. And I think being a Moon and Scorpio girl too, I mean, Scorpio is the natural sign of sex. And I think when she's really sexually bonded to a man, it's hard for her to see straight like the rest of us. And the other thing about Mars-Venus people, so she has Mars opposite Venus, Mars and Venus in signs opposite to each other. So they're in, you know, very strong relationship to each other. They aspect each other. That's what we call that. Mars is motion, movement, sports. Venus is art. And the Mars-Venus combo isn't just sex, but it's also dancing. And, you know, my father used to always joke that dancing was the vertical expression of a horizontal desire, So Jennifer's even said in interviews that dancers make better lovers than musicians. And she said this right out of her marriage to Mark Anthony. I think it was a little bit of a chop to Mark. But anyway, so Venus and Taurus in a Mars constellation opposite Mars. This is why she's such a dancer. This is why she made her mark and came up the ranks through dancing. It's why she started in dance. But being a super water girl, you know, having the Sun and Mercury in Cancer and having the Moon in Scorpio, they can really feel deeply and feel the full expression of human emotion easily. They're very intuitive, empathetic, can feel into other people's feelings. This helps her a lot with acting because she could put herself in someone else's shoes. Now, in Vedic astrology, I just mentioned Magrishara. Magrishara is one of the original 27 Vedic signs. We still look to a completely different zodiac called the Vedic zodiac. These are called nakshatras. They're a little known zodiac from ancient India, and they're absolutely amazing. And I'm not sure what her moon sign falls into. When we say, hey baby, what's your sign? We want to know your moon sign. But I'm guessing it's later in Scorpio, that she was born later in the day, because that would put her moon sign in a constellation called Anuradha. And Anuradha stands for the star of success. Anuradha people are successful. And if you haven't noticed, J-Lo is just slightly successful. She is one of the biggest stars in the history of ever. She's the only person to ever have had a #1 movie and a #1 album at the same time. She's a phenom, and she's 49, and I don't see her slowing down. I don't know about you, but yeah, she turns 50 this year. Whoop, whoop. Go J-Lo. But Anuradha, the thing that especially makes me think it fits her, is it's ruled by the planet Saturn. And Moon Saturn people do have relationship trouble. They tend to partner later. Marriages in the early life or relationships in the early life are disappointing, not as close as we would like, not as fulfilling as we would like. And Moon Saturn people, they're perfectionists, which she's known for being, and they work extremely hard, which she's always been known for doing, and they tend to be workaholic, which she also is. And this can also be seen because her sun is in a constellation of Cancer that is also ruled by Saturn. So she's a Sun Saturn, Moon Saturn girl. And Sun Saturn, Moon Saturn people are, they have hardship, even if they can be extremely successful. They can be lonely, they can be hard to please, they can have heartbreak, they can have disappointment more than most people. So I hope that this time Jennifer is happy. I really do. So, but let's look at A-Rod. So A-Rod in this system is the sun in Cancer and the moon in Aquarius, with what strikes me right away is he's got Mars and Jupiter in Aries. Okay, athletes always have something really powerful going on with Mars. Mars is sports. Aries is one of Mars's most favorite places to be. It's in all its glory. And when it's with Jupiter, that's how you can buy rings that look like this. Oh, wouldn't that be fun? Have a little ice cube on your hand. I don't know. What is she going to do? She's going to have to take it off every time they go to the gym. That's how you lose a ring, right? But anyway, back to A-Rod. So the Mars-Jupiter combo is the Midas touch. I mean, that is wealth. People with Mars and Jupiter together. And it's funny, when they first got engaged, I was like, well, she's the one with the major career. His is in the past. I mean, what is he doing with himself? Oh, gee, what is he doing? He's opening hundreds of fitness centers. That's what he's doing. He is still making it rain, making it rain. He is very, very driven. And when you look at his chart, he also has a Sun-Saturn combination. They, if you didn't know it, their birthdays are just 3 days apart. So they're both born in July, and so they have the same sun sign, and they don't just have the same sun sign, they have the same Vedic sun sign. So he has the sun in a Saturn constellation, but he also has Saturn with the sun in the same sign. And Saturn sun people are also late blooming, they're also workaholic, they're also perfectionistic, they also throw themselves 100% into whatever they do. But in his case, the sun is a man's capacity to be really generous with a woman and really show up for a woman. And one of the things you don't want, ladies, with the sun in your man is Saturn, because Sun-Saturn men will be selfish, they'll be pushy, they'll be rigid, they can be so workaholic that they're unavailable. You know, I haven't talked to any of his exes, of which there are legions, right? But I would imagine being with somebody with a mega career, these are the complaints, right? And it's also well known that he has had a roving eye in the past and that he's quite the ladies' man. So I do think that of course, will be in the mix for Jennifer. I mean, he's got the sun with Saturn, and that could make him not always as present for her as she would like. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, so he has the moon in Aquarius, which I just mentioned, which is very entrepreneurial. This is why he's opening his own fitness centers, right? Leo, Scorpio, Sagittarius, and Aquarius, I was taught, are the power signs. You put the moon in any of those signs, they're going to make you large and in charge. They're going to make you want to run your own thing, be your own boss. So J-Lo has the moon in Scorpio. He has the moon in Aquarius. When are they ever going to see each other? That's what I want to know. This is why, you know, she's got fashion lines and albums and movies and kids. I mean, it's how do they stretch time? How do they pack it all in? I really don't know. But I love men with the moon in Aquarius. All my favorite men have it, including my man. And they are definitely late bloomers. You don't want to marry them until they're at least 35. So she's at least doing that right. He's also very romantic like she is. He's got the moon opposite Venus. Venus sun, Venus moon. Oh, she's got the moon opposite Venus. He's got the moon opposite Venus. So that's why they're both attractive. They're both into beauty. They're both into bling. And they're both into romance. Neither of them seems to quit the romance game. So hopefully they will just focus on each other. My concern in his chart, I like that he has a fixed moon and a fixed Venus. That can help him focus on just one woman. Aquarius and Leo are fixed signs. He was married, as you've probably heard, and it did produce 2 kids. He was in it for 7 years, 5 years, something like that. At least 5 to 7. And that's pretty darn good in celebrity land, especially at the prime of his career. That's pretty good. But he does have that Saturn-Sun combo. And then he does have most of his planets in what are called movable signs. People with most of their planets in movable signs, they get bored easily. They need variety. They need change. They have a need for new experiences, new adventures, new people. So we'll see. They probably liked each other right away. I know she said she approached him, which, ladies, tip. All my favorite marriages, the woman approached the guy first, including this guy's. So take a tip from J-Lo. Go up to a guy and tap him on the shoulder like she did when she ran into him somewhere. And, you know, the reason I said they probably liked each other right away is they definitely have a past life connection that's very powerful. He's got the north node of the moon, what we call Rahu, in Scorpio with her moon sign. That's very, very bonding. They have the same sun sign, which is very, very bonding. He's got Saturn with her sun, which is a combo that tends to lend itself to commitment. Their Venuses square each other, which Western astrology doesn't so much like, but we kind of like that. Their Venuses have some, they're throwing some aspect on each other, which is nice. So we'll see. The jury is out. My least favorite thing is that J-Lo is in a cycle of Saturn that makes her not in the best time to marry. I hope they wait at least till January of next year. I doubt they will, but I would really like Saturn out of her moon sign completely. She has the moon in Scorpio, and it's believed the whole 7.5 years that Saturn is around a person's moon sign, relationships are challenging, and they're to learn from and grow from. So the fact that she's in the last year of this 7.5 year time, and she met A-Rod and started seeing A-Rod during that time, gives me pause. I'm not gonna lie. It makes me feel like this might be another learning, growing experience for her. I hope not, and I don't mean to curse this. I'm telling you, I don't have that kind of power. I can't alter fate or anything. But I was taught that you shouldn't marry when Saturn's going through your moon sign, and if you do, it's usually very, very difficult, and it's hard to find full happiness, and there are always things that will get in the way. It can get better once Saturn lifts, but the fact that their relationship began during this time isn't a big vote of confidence, I'm gonna say. So we're gonna cross our fingers. If nothing else, she gets this out of the deal. Okay, I'll stop being obnoxious. I even wore my J-Lo hoop earrings in honor of her, you know, because I'm so Puerto Rican. Can't you tell? With my green eyes and my mousy brown hair. But anyway, I do wish them the best. She is incredible. Listen, people who go for their dreams as hard as they both have, people who work as hard as they both have, people who suit up and show up and try as hard as they've tried. And you know, we got to give it to Alex. His father left when he was 10. That's a very typical thing when the sun is with Saturn in a man's chart. There's some breakup with the father or some lack of full fathering. So, you know, he's had to be his own man. He's had to take care of his mom. He said the minute he got signed to his baseball career, the minute he got his first contract, he bought his mom a house and a car, and she was able to retire. And for that alone, I love him, right? He's seems to be a very sweet father to his 2 daughters. She seems to be a really great mom, and by all accounts, their kids really like each other. So I am pulling for them. I'm rooting for them, and we will see what they and their fates decide. So until next time, everybody, thanks for watching, and God bless.